Since 2011, the Galveston Bay Foundation has recycled 1,800 tons of oyster shells to help rebuild our ocean habitats, and some of those shells could have been the ones that you were eating right off your plate. New at 7, the president of the foundation, Bob Stokes, is joining me in studio to tell us more about this program. Good morning.
Good morning.
So how is the foundation restoring the bay's natural resources?
Yeah, we do a lot of different habitat restoration types. We do marsh grass restoration, we do seagrass restoration, but
nice.
Today we're talking about oyster reef restoration.
Okay, so you guys are busy.
Yes, we do lots of different things, and we've been working on oyster reef restoration now for almost 15 years. And part of that is recycling oyster shells.
And so recycling, so we just mentioned that these oysters could have come right from off your plate. Is that true? Like, do you work with restaurants? How does that happen?
Yeah, we actually work with 37 restaurants across the whole Houston area.
Love that.
A while ago, those restaurants would have just thrown their oyster shell in the trash. Mm-hmm. So the trash, it would go to landfill. It wouldn't be helpful at all.
Yeah.
And so after Hurricane Ike, which was already 2008, a long time ago, we started working with a restaurant down in the Clear Lake area called Tommy's Restaurant and Oyster Bar.
Love Tommy's.
And Tommy's is awesome, and that was sort of the first restaurant we worked with to make this happen. And since then, we have recycled almost 2,000 tons of oyster shell.
Tommy's is helpful in the community, so I'm glad to hear that they helped you out there. What does an oyster reef restoration look like? Like, where could people see something like this to get an idea of what we're talking about?
Yeah, so we take the shell and we have to cure it in the sun for a while before it goes back in the bay. But all this shell that we recycle will ultimately go back into a restored reef in Galveston Bay. Some of those reefs are below the water, so they're hard to see, but others are intertidal, so they do stick out of the they do stick out of the edge of the bay, and you can see them.
So we're showing video now that almost looks like an oyster shell landfill in itself. So is this where you're talking about they curate in the sun?
Yeah, exactly. So that's our dump truck, and we take the shell and we have to store it for a while. What you're not seeing though is then we move the shell back to the bay, and we do that in lots of different ways. We do large-scale oyster reef restoration where we put that shell on a big barge and push it into the water in a certain formation. Here you're seeing kind of small scale, putting the oyster shell specifically back in a place that's probably pretty close to the shore right there. Here we have volunteers who are placing oyster shell in bags. We had the volunteers put that shell in the bags, and that can serve as a shoreline protection measure. So it's a win-win. You have oyster shells with new oysters growing, but it also breaks the waves, and so it stops erosion from occurring in that particular occasion. Okay,
so that's what I was going to ask you, is why is this even important? But in large part, it's for erosion.
Well, there's lots of reasons for oyster reefs in Galveston Bay. The primary reason I would argue is that oysters filter water. So one oyster can filter up to 50 gallons of water a day. So it helps make the bay water cleaner, clearer. And so
I did not know that.
Yes, absolutely. And then if you talk to any fishermen, they're going to tell you oyster reefs are important because that's where the fish are. So the little fish love to hide in oyster reefs. The big fish come around and try to eat the little fish, and the fishermen come and try to catch the big fish.
So we're benefiting that ecosystem, but also filtering the water.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
Multiple benefits, and the history of Galveston Bay is we've lost a lot of oyster reef. We've lost a lot of oyster reef for a lot of different reasons. We used to harvest the shell to make road base with, and that was not sustainable.
Yeah.
And then we've had drought and floods and hurricanes, and that's not been positive for oysters. And of course, people love oysters. I love oysters. I love to eat oysters, and there's a lot of pressure on the oysters in Galveston Bay from the fishermen as well. So we have to invest back by putting that shell back in the water, because that's where the baby oysters grow.
They don't use oysters for roads anymore?
They do not. No, absolutely. It's been banned. It's been banned since the 70s.
So when I see it, it means I'm on a really old road.
It's old, exactly.
Interesting.
Probably a driveway.
Because I see it all the time.
You do see it all the time. And sometimes people find a source of oyster shell and put it on their driveway to sort of dress it, but it's not harvested from the bay specifically to make road base anymore, which is a good thing.
Yeah, yeah. And how great is the need? Like, do you need more restaurants to participate? Do you need more people to volunteer? What are your needs?
I think we need all the above. We need more people to volunteer. We have lots of volunteer efforts. We can get people involved in doing lots of work around oyster reef restoration. We need more people to talk to their restaurants about becoming partners in our program so that we can restore their oyster shell, recycle their oyster shells. And then we need more people just to be aware of the issues, right? It's about awareness. Galveston Bay, people sort of take it for granted. It's a healthy bay, but we have to invest back into it to ensure it continues to be healthy. And one of the ways we do that, of course, is this oyster reef restoration.
Yeah, I mean, as somebody who is local, I was born and raised here. I have, definitely love for Galveston, and I want that to happen. So I think people would also like to go to restaurants that they know are helping you out and helping with the bay. How could people sign up? Like, how could a restaurant get in touch with you and be part of this?
Yeah, so we have a website specifically on our oyster reef restoration, and it lists the 37 restaurants that we work with. It also has our contact information for the restaurateurs who might want to reach out and contact us. Our website is galvbay, GALVBAY.org, and there's a lot of information there about all the things we do. You can sign up to be a volunteer, you can sign up to be a donor. We love the donors, and you can sign up to just get involved with Galveston Bay.
That's what I was also going to ask you, is if that's the same information for volunteers, which we will put on our website, clicktohouston.com, so that people can reach out to you no matter what they decide to help you with.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, that's our main website, and we've got lots of little buttons to get people involved.
Yeah, well, you've been a wealth of information. Bob Stokes, we appreciate you coming in. What do you have to say before I let you go?
Happy Earth Day. We're right around Earth Day right now, right? So Monday's officially Earth Day, and so this is part of our Earth Day celebration. We'd love to get people involved, and we're doing lots of things this weekend, so come on out.